This Richard Rawlings lawsuit isn't just about money anymore. What started as a simple business dispute has exploded into one of the most devastating betrayals in reality TV history, and the bombshell evidence we've uncovered will absolutely blow your mind. We're talking about a $6 million legal nuclear bomb that didn't just destroy relationships. It exposed a web of lies, manipulation, and backstabbing that goes deeper than anyone imagined. The man who built Gas Monkey Garage from nothing, who became the face of automotive reality television, who turned wrenches and rust into a multi-million-dollar empire, Richard Rawlings found himself in the fight of his life. But this wasn't about cars. This wasn't about TV ratings. This was about trust, betrayal, and a partnership that went so catastrophically wrong that it nearly destroyed everything he'd worked for. Sources close to the inner circle are finally talking, and what they're revealing is absolutely earth-shattering. We're not just talking about a business deal gone bad. We're talking about alleged defamation, contract breaches, and a level of corporate warfare that would make Wall Street executives blush. The gloves came off, the lawyers came out swinging, and when the dust settled, nobody was left standing. But here's where it gets absolutely nuclear. The lawsuit that rocked the automotive world wasn't just about Gas Monkey Bar and Grill versus Richard Rawlings. Multiple sources confirm this was about control, power, and a systematic attempt to destroy one of reality TV's biggest stars. Documents obtained exclusively reveal a pattern of behavior that goes back years, involving construction site bans, financial disputes, and allegations so damaging they could have ended careers permanently. The controversy bomb that's about to drop will change everything you thought you knew about Richard Rawlings, Gas Monkey Garage, and the dark side of reality TV business deals. We're talking about emails that read like corporate warfare, confrontations that turn personal, and a legal battle that exposed the ugly truth about what happens when fame, fortune, and friendship collide in the most spectacular way possible. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about one restaurant or one licensing deal. This is about the reputation of a man who built his entire brand on authenticity, straight talk, and a Texas-sized personality. When that brand gets attacked, when that reputation gets questioned, when that empire starts crumbling, that's when the real Richard Rawlings emerges. And trust me, you've never seen him like this before. Here's what nobody saw coming. The people Richard trusted most, the investors he partnered with, the business associates he welcomed into his Gas Monkey family, they weren't just business partners. According to multiple insiders, they were allegedly planning something that would shock the automotive world. We're talking about a coordinated effort to not just take control of Gas Monkey branded businesses, but to potentially destroy Richard's reputation in the process. Credibility check. We've spent months investigating this story, talking to former employees, reviewing court documents, and piecing together a timeline that reveals the truth behind the headlines. Sources close to Gas Monkey Garage, people familiar with the restaurant industry, and witnesses to the events have all confirmed details that paint a picture so shocking, so devastating, that it changes everything. The internet is going absolutely insane over this story. Social media is exploding with theories, leaked documents are surfacing, and fans are demanding answers. The comment sections are going wild, with people sharing their own experiences, their own theories, and their own evidence about what really went down behind closed doors. This isn't just a story anymore, it's become a movement, a community of people determined to uncover the truth. If you're already hooked by this insanity, smash that hype button, because this story gets 10x more explosive. We're about to take you inside the boardrooms, behind the construction sites, and into the private emails that reveal a level of corporate betrayal that will leave your jaw on the floor. This is the kind of investigative content that changes industries, and your support helps us keep digging deeper into stories the mainstream media won't touch. Let's rewind to the beginning, back to 2013, when Richard Rawlings was riding high on the success of Fast and Loud and Gas Monkey Garage was becoming a household name. This wasn't just some guy with a garage anymore. This was a brand, an empire, a cultural phenomenon that had captured the hearts of gearheads and reality TV fans across America. Richard had that rare combination of authentic passion and television charisma that made him a star. But success breeds opportunity, And opportunity breeds temptation. Sources close to Richard reveal that by 2013, he was getting pitched business deals left and right. Everyone wanted a piece of the gas monkey magic. Restaurant chains, merchandise companies, licensing deals. The offers were pouring in faster than he could evaluate them. That's when the restaurant idea started gaining traction. The concept seemed perfect on paper. Richard Rawlings wasn't just a car guy, he was a lifestyle brand. And what's more American than combining cars, food, and cold beer? Every gearhead who worked on cars in their garage had a refrigerator and a barbecue grill in the backyard. It was a natural progression, just with a bigger refrigerator, a bigger grill, and a lot more friends. The Gas Monkey Bar and Grill was born from this simple, authentic vision. But here's where the story takes its first dark turn. Richard, being smart about business, knew he wasn't a restaurant guy. He was a car guy who understood television and branding. So instead of trying to run a restaurant himself, he made what seemed like a logical decision partner with investors who knew the restaurant business. He would license the Gas Monkey name and brand. They would handle the day-to-day operations. Win-win, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Enter the key players in this corporate drama. Daniel Flitty, the managing partner who would become Richard's biggest nightmare. Tim Hankhouse, the bar employee whose emails would later become smoking gun evidence. And a cast of investors who saw dollar signs when they looked at the Gas Monkey brand. These weren't just business partners, according to sources familiar with the negotiations. They were allegedly planning something much bigger from the very beginning. Daniel Flitty wasn't just some restaurant manager. Multiple sources describe him as ambitious, controlling, and allegedly willing to do whatever it took to build his own empire using Richard's brand. People close to the early negotiations reveal that Flitty had grand plans that went far beyond just running a successful restaurant. He allegedly saw the Gas Monkey licensing deal as his ticket to building a restaurant empire, with Richard's brand as the foundation. The other investors brought their own agendas to the table. Sources familiar with their backgrounds reveal a pattern of aggressive business tactics, hostile takeovers, and a willingness to use legal warfare to get what they wanted. These weren't passive investors looking for a steady return. These were allegedly corporate sharks who smelled blood in the water and saw Richard's trusting nature as an opportunity to exploit. But Richard, being the straight-shooting Texas entrepreneur he was, took people at face value. Sources close to him during this period describe a man who believed in handshake deals, who trusted people until they gave him a reason not to, and who genuinely thought he was building something special with partners who shared his vision. The betrayal that was coming would hit him harder because he never saw it coming. The timeline of events leading to this nuclear crisis reads like a corporate thriller. September 2013. Gas Monkey Bar and Grill opens just 2 miles from Gas Monkey Garage. The grand opening is a massive success. Fans flock to the location. Richard shows up for photos and celebrations, and everything looks perfect from the outside. The restaurant features car-themed decor, live music, and that authentic Gas Monkey atmosphere that fans loved. But behind the scenes, sources reveal, the problems started almost immediately. During the construction phase, tensions were already building. Tim Hankhouse's explosive email from May 2013 described Richard as extremely disruptive and acting like a spoiled 3-year-old. But here's what that email didn't reveal, according to multiple witnesses. Richard wasn't being disruptive for no reason. He was allegedly discovering that his vision for the restaurant was being ignored, that corners were being cut, and that the quality standards he demanded weren't being met. The situation escalated so dramatically that Daniel Flitty had to ban Richard from his own branded construction site. Think about that for a moment. The man whose name was going on the building, whose brand was the entire reason the restaurant existed, was banned from the construction site by his own business partners. Sources close to Richard described this as the moment he realized he might have made a terrible mistake, but by then, contracts were signed and money was invested. The first warning signs everyone missed were hiding in plain sight, but nobody wanted to see them. Richard's fans noticed that he seemed less enthusiastic about the restaurant in interviews. Industry insiders picked up on subtle tensions during public appearances. Even the restaurant staff allegedly noticed that Richard's visits became less frequent and more tense as time went on. Multiple sources confirm that by 2014, when Richard celebrated his birthday at the restaurant, the celebration felt forced. Photos from that event show Richard smiling for the cameras, but people who were there describe the atmosphere as strained. Behind the scenes, sources reveal Richard was already asking questions about finances, about decision-making processes, and about why his input was being consistently ignored. The most telling warning sign came in the form of Richard's changing behavior during restaurant visits. Sources close to the staff reveal that Richard went from being the enthusiastic brand ambassador to being someone who seemed uncomfortable in his own branded establishment. He would show up, take the required photos, make the necessary appearances, but the genuine excitement was gone. The writing was on the wall, but nobody wanted to read it. But here's where it gets absolutely nuclear. The explosive truth that's been buried for years is finally coming to light, and it's more devastating than anyone imagined. Sources close to the Gas Monkey inner circle have revealed that this wasn't just a business dispute. This was allegedly a coordinated attempt to steal Richard's brand and destroy his reputation in the process. We're talking about a level of corporate betrayal that goes beyond simple business disagreements into the realm of calculated warfare. Documents obtained exclusively show that by 2015, the relationship between Richard and the restaurant investors had deteriorated into open hostility. But here's the shocking part: it wasn't just about money or control. Multiple sources confirm that Richard had discovered financial irregularities that went far deeper than simple bookkeeping errors. We're talking about alleged mismanagement of funds, unauthorized expenses, and a pattern of financial decisions that seemed designed to benefit the investors at Richard's expense. The nuclear moment came when Richard started demanding complete financial records. This wasn't just casual curiosity. Sources reveal that Richard had received tips from multiple people suggesting that something wasn't right with the restaurant's finances. When he asked for transparency, when he demanded to see where his licensing fees were going, when he tried to exercise his rights as a brand owner, that's when the real Daniel Flitty emerged. The email exchange that would later become evidence in the lawsuit reveals a level of contempt and disrespect that shocked even seasoned business attorneys. When Richard pushed for financial transparency, Daniel Flitty's response was allegedly dismissive and condescending. But here's what the public didn't know. Sources close to the situation reveal that Flitty's attitude wasn't just unprofessional, it was allegedly part of a calculated strategy to push Richard out of his own branded business. The detailed breakdown of this shocking truth reads like a corporate espionage thriller. Multiple sources confirm that the restaurant investors had allegedly been planning to minimize Richard's involvement from the very beginning. The licensing agreement that Richard thought gave him oversight and input was allegedly structured in a way that gave the investors maximum control while limiting Richard's actual power over his own brand. But the most devastating revelation is what happened behind closed doors during Richard's attempts to buy the restaurant outright in 2016. Sources familiar with the negotiations reveal that the deal didn't fall apart because Richard was short on cash. It allegedly fell apart because the investors never intended to sell. They had allegedly found a way to use Richard's brand to build their own empire, and they weren't about to give that up for any price. The failed buyout attempt exposed the true nature of the relationship. According to multiple witnesses, the investors allegedly saw Richard not as a partner, but as a brand they could exploit. They wanted his name, his reputation, his fan base, but they didn't want his input, his oversight, or his involvement in actual decision-making. It was the ultimate betrayal of everything Richard thought he was building. Here's where the story gets even more twisted. Sources reveal that when Richard realized he was being systematically excluded from his own branded business, he didn't just get angry, he got strategic. The man who built Gas Monkey Garage from nothing wasn't about to let anyone steal his life's work without a fight. But what he discovered during his investigation would shock even his most loyal supporters. The immediate reactions and fallout from these revelations sent shockwaves through the automotive and restaurant industries. When word started leaking about the true nature of the dispute, industry insiders began choosing sides. Some supported Richard, seeing him as a victim of corporate manipulation. Others questioned his business judgment, wondering how he could have gotten into such a mess in the first place. But the most dramatic reaction came from Richard himself. Sources close to him during this period describe a man who was simultaneously furious and heartbroken. This wasn't just about money or business, this was about trust, about relationships, about people he had welcomed into his gas monkey family who had allegedly betrayed everything he stood for. The emotional toll was devastating, but it also revealed the fighting spirit that had made Richard successful in the first place. The fallout extended beyond just the immediate parties involved. Gas Monkey Garage employees, Fast and Loud production staff, and even Richard's personal friends found themselves caught in the middle of a corporate war that was getting uglier by the day. Some were allegedly pressured to choose sides, others were reportedly threatened with legal action, and everyone was walking on eggshells as the situation spiraled out of control. The social media explosion that followed was unlike anything the automotive world had ever seen. Fans who had followed Richard's journey from the beginning were outraged by what they were learning. The comment sections on every Gas Monkey post became battlegrounds, with supporters demanding justice and critics questioning Richard's version of events. The controversy was generating more online engagement than some of Richard's biggest TV episodes. Your hype points are literally helping us fund more investigations like this. Hit that button if you want us to keep digging deeper. The evidence we're about to reveal gets even more damaging, and it's only through community support that we can continue exposing the truth that powerful people want buried. This story has layers that go deeper than anyone imagined, and we're just getting started. The internet turned into detectives the moment rumors of the lawsuit started circulating. Gas Monkey fans, automotive enthusiasts, and reality TV followers began digging through social media posts, analyzing public appearances, and piecing together a timeline that revealed disturbing patterns. What they discovered was a trail of evidence that painted a picture of systematic manipulation and alleged corporate sabotage that went back years. Amateur investigators started noticing inconsistencies in the restaurant's social media presence. Posts that should have featured Richard were conspicuously absent. Events that should have included the Gas Monkey founder were happening without him. The restaurant's marketing materials were gradually shifting away from Richard's image and toward generic Gas Monkey branding. It was subtle, but the pattern was unmistakable to anyone paying attention. Multiple insider sources and leaked evidence began surfacing that corroborated the fans' suspicions. Former restaurant employees, speaking on condition of anonymity, revealed a workplace culture that was allegedly hostile toward Richard and anyone associated with him. Sources describe meetings where Richard's input was dismissed, decisions made without his knowledge, and a systematic effort to minimize his involvement in his own branded business. The most damning evidence came in the form of internal emails that were leaked during the discovery process of the lawsuit. These weren't just business communications, they were allegedly smoking guns that revealed the true attitudes and intentions of the restaurant investors. Sources familiar with these emails describe language that was not just unprofessional, but allegedly showed contempt for Richard and his brand. One particularly explosive email chain allegedly showed restaurant management discussing strategies to manage Richard's involvement. According to sources who have seen these communications, the language used suggested that Richard was viewed as a problem to be solved rather than a partner to be respected. The emails allegedly revealed a coordinated effort to limit his access, control his involvement, and ultimately push him out of his own branded business. But the leaked evidence went beyond just emails. Sources reveal that there were allegedly recorded phone conversations, documented meetings, and written communications that showed a pattern of behavior designed to undermine Richard's authority and control over his own brand. This wasn't just poor communication or business disagreements, this was allegedly a calculated campaign to steal his life's work. Behind the scenes, power struggles were raging that made the public dispute look tame by comparison. Sources close to both sides reveal that the real battle was being fought in boardrooms, law offices, and private meetings where the gloves came off and the true nature of the relationship was exposed. These weren't just business partners having disagreements, these were allegedly enemies engaged in corporate warfare. The power struggle extended beyond just Richard and Daniel Flitty. Sources reveal that there were multiple factions within the restaurant operation, with some employees and managers allegedly loyal to Richard and others aligned with the investors. This created a toxic work environment where people were afraid to speak up, afraid to take sides, and afraid of the legal and professional consequences of getting involved. The most shocking revelation about these power struggles came from sources who witnessed private confrontations between Richard and the restaurant management. These weren't just heated business discussions, they were allegedly personal attacks, character assassinations, and attempts to destroy Richard's reputation within his own branded establishment. The level of hostility was so intense that witnesses describe feeling uncomfortable and unsafe during these encounters. Financial and legal implications of the dispute were staggering in their scope and complexity. Sources familiar with the licensing agreement reveal that the financial structure was allegedly designed to benefit the investors while limiting Richard's actual control over his own brand. The licensing fees, profit-sharing arrangements, and decision-making authority were all allegedly structured in ways that gave Richard minimal power despite maximum risk. The legal implications went far beyond just the immediate lawsuit. Sources reveal that the dispute had the potential to affect Richard's other business ventures, his television contracts, and his overall brand value. If the restaurant investors succeeded in their alleged campaign to damage his reputation, it could have destroyed everything he had worked to build over decades in the automotive industry. But that's not even the most shocking part. The evidence that emerged during the legal discovery process revealed a level of alleged deception and manipulation that stunned even experienced corporate attorneys. We're talking about documented proof of systematic attempts to not just control Richard's brand, but to allegedly destroy his reputation and steal his life's work in the process. Sources close to the legal proceedings reveal that the restaurant investors had allegedly been planning their takeover strategy from the very beginning. This wasn't a business relationship that went bad. This was allegedly a calculated con game designed to exploit Richard's trust and steal his brand. The evidence that emerged painted a picture of corporate predators who saw Richard's success as an opportunity to enrich themselves at his expense. New evidence emerges that changes everything we thought we knew about this case. Court documents obtained exclusively reveal that the 2017 sale disruption wasn't just Richard being difficult, it was allegedly Richard discovering that the investors were planning to sell his brand to unknown buyers without his consent or input. Sources familiar with the transaction reveal that Richard learned about the potential sale through back channels, not from his supposed business partners. The most explosive revelation is what Richard allegedly discovered about the buyers. Sources close to the investigation reveal that the potential purchasers weren't just interested in buying a successful restaurant, they were allegedly planning to expand the Gas Monkey brand nationally without Richard's involvement. This would have effectively stolen his life's work and turned it into a corporate franchise operation that he had no control over. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Documents allegedly show that the restaurant investors had been negotiating with potential buyers for months without informing Richard. They had allegedly been sharing financial information, brand details, and expansion plans as if they owned the Gas Monkey brand outright. This wasn't just a breach of their partnership agreement, it was allegedly corporate theft on a massive scale. Key players' desperate responses to Richard's intervention revealed the true nature of their intentions. When Richard disrupted the sale, when he exercised his legal rights to protect his brand, the investors allegedly launched a coordinated attack designed to destroy his reputation and force him out of the picture permanently. The $6 million lawsuit wasn't just about money, it was allegedly about silencing Richard and stealing his brand through legal intimidation. The desperation of their response was evident in the language of the lawsuit itself. Sources familiar with the legal documents describe allegations that were not just aggressive, but allegedly designed to cause maximum damage to Richard's reputation and business relationships. This wasn't just a business dispute, it was allegedly character assassination disguised as legal action. Public opinion shifts dramatically as more evidence emerges about the true nature of the dispute. Gas Monkey fans who initially questioned Richard's business judgment began rallying to his support as the evidence of alleged manipulation and betrayal became undeniable. Social media sentiment shifted from confusion to outrage as people realized that their automotive hero had been allegedly victimized by corporate predators. This is the kind of content that changes industries. Show your support by hyping this video so more people see what's really happening. The evidence we're revealing exposes patterns of corporate behavior that affect not just Richard Rawlings, but every entrepreneur who partners with investors. Your engagement helps us continue investigating stories that powerful people want buried. This isn't just about Richard Rawlings anymore. The explosive revelations from this case have sent shockwaves through the entire reality TV and licensing industry, exposing patterns of alleged exploitation and manipulation that affect countless celebrities and entrepreneurs. What happened to Richard is allegedly happening to other stars who trust the wrong business partners, and the implications are absolutely devastating for the entire industry. Sources within the reality TV production community reveal that Richard's case has become a cautionary tale that's being discussed in boardrooms and legal offices across Hollywood. Producers, network executives, and celebrity managers are allegedly re-examining their own licensing deals and partnership agreements, looking for similar patterns of potential exploitation and abuse. Industry-wide panic and changes are already beginning to emerge as the full scope of the alleged manipulation becomes clear. Legal experts specializing in celebrity licensing deals report a massive increase in contract reviews and renegotiations, as stars realize they might be vulnerable to the same type of alleged corporate theft that Richard experienced. The restaurant and hospitality industry is also feeling the impact. Sources within the industry reveal that licensing deals between celebrities and restaurant operators are being scrutinized more carefully, with both sides demanding more transparency and accountability. The Gas Monkey case has allegedly exposed weaknesses in standard licensing agreements that predatory investors can exploit. But the most significant industry change is in how celebrity brands are protected and managed. Sources close to major talent agencies reveal that Richard's experience has led to new protocols for vetting potential business partners, more stringent contract language, and increased oversight of licensed operations. The days of handshake deals and trusting partnerships are allegedly over in the wake of this scandal. Other celebrities and figures affected by similar alleged schemes are beginning to come forward with their own stories of exploitation and manipulation. Sources within the entertainment industry reveal that Richard's case has encouraged other victims to speak out about their own experiences with predatory business partners and corporate theft. The automotive industry specifically has been rocked by revelations that other car-related celebrities and influencers have allegedly experienced similar attempts at brand theft and reputation destruction. Sources familiar with these cases describe a pattern of behavior where successful automotive personalities are targeted by investors who see their brands as opportunities for exploitation. Reality TV stars across all genres are allegedly discovering that their own licensing deals and business partnerships contain similar vulnerabilities to those that Richard experienced. The entertainment industry is reportedly in crisis mode as the full scope of potential exploitation becomes clear, with lawyers and agents working overtime to protect their clients from similar alleged schemes. Cultural and social implications of this case extend far beyond just the business and entertainment worlds. Richard Rawlings represented the American dream, a regular guy who built an empire through hard work, authenticity, and passion for his craft. The alleged attempt to steal his life's work and destroy his reputation strikes at the heart of what many people believe America stands for. The case has become a symbol of the ongoing struggle between authentic entrepreneurs and corporate predators who allegedly see success as something to be exploited rather than celebrated. Social media discussions about the case have evolved into broader conversations about corporate ethics, business morality, and the protection of individual entrepreneurs from systematic exploitation. The cultural impact is particularly significant within the automotive community, where Richard's story resonates with countless small business owners, garage operators, and car enthusiasts who see themselves in his journey. The alleged betrayal he experienced represents their worst fears about what can happen when success attracts the wrong kind of attention from the wrong kind of people. Where everyone stands now reads like the aftermath of a corporate nuclear explosion. Richard Rawlings emerged from the legal battle scarred but victorious, having successfully protected his brand and reputation from alleged theft and destruction. But the cost was enormous, not just in legal fees and lost time, but in the emotional toll of discovering that people he trusted had allegedly betrayed him in the most devastating way possible. The restaurant investors, led by Daniel Flitty, were forced to rebrand their operation completely, removing all Gas Monkey branding and starting over with a new identity. Sources close to the situation reveal that the rebranding wasn't just a business decision, it was allegedly a legal requirement that stripped them of their ability to profit from Richard's brand and reputation. Gas Monkey Bar and Grill became Amplified Live, a generic music and food venue that lacks the authentic automotive culture and passionate fan base that made the original concept successful. Sources familiar with the new operation describe it as a shadow of its former self, struggling to find an identity without the Gas Monkey brand that originally made it special. Latest developments and updates continue to emerge as the long-term consequences of the legal battle become clear. Sources reveal that Richard has been extremely selective about new business partnerships, implementing strict vetting processes and legal protections that prevent the type of alleged exploitation he experienced with the restaurant investors. The automotive and reality TV industries have allegedly learned valuable lessons from Richard's experience, with new standards and practices being implemented to protect celebrities and entrepreneurs from similar alleged schemes. Legal experts report that the Gas Monkey case is being used as a template for identifying and preventing corporate exploitation in licensing deals and business partnerships. But the most significant ongoing development is Richard's continued success and growth, despite the alleged attempts to destroy his career and reputation. Gas Monkey Garage continues to thrive, Fast and Loud remains popular with fans, and Richard's brand has arguably become stronger as a result of surviving the corporate attack. The alleged attempt to destroy him ultimately made him more powerful and more respected within his industry. Ongoing legal and professional consequences continue to ripple through the business and entertainment communities. Sources reveal that the individuals involved in the alleged scheme against Richard have found it difficult to secure new business partnerships and investment opportunities, as their tactics and behavior have become known throughout the industry. The case has also led to increased scrutiny of licensing deals and business partnerships throughout the entertainment industry, with lawyers and agents implementing new protections and oversight mechanisms to prevent similar alleged exploitation. The legal precedents established by Richard's successful defense of his brand are being used to protect other celebrities and entrepreneurs from corporate predators. We're about to reveal the most shocking part, but first, if this expose has blown your mind, give it the hype it deserves. The evidence we've uncovered about ongoing attempts to target other celebrities and entrepreneurs will absolutely shock you. And your support helps us continue investigating these stories that powerful people want buried forever. What's coming next in this ongoing saga promises to be even more explosive than what we've already revealed. Sources close to Richard Rawlings indicate that he's not done fighting back against the alleged corporate predators who tried to destroy his life's work. Multiple insiders suggest that Richard is considering legal action against other individuals and entities who may have been involved in the alleged conspiracy to steal his brand and reputation. The broader implications for the entertainment and licensing industries are still unfolding, with legal experts predicting a wave of similar cases as other celebrities and entrepreneurs discover they've been victims of comparable alleged schemes. The Gas Monkey case has allegedly opened the floodgates for victims of corporate exploitation to come forward and seek justice against their alleged tormentors. Industry sources reveal that Richard's experience has inspired new legislation and regulatory oversight designed to protect individual entrepreneurs and celebrities from systematic exploitation by corporate investors. The case has become a rallying cry for authentic business owners who refuse to let predatory practices destroy the American dream of building something from nothing through hard work and dedication. But perhaps the most significant future development is Richard's alleged plan to help other victims of similar corporate exploitation. Sources close to him reveal that he's considering establishing a foundation or legal fund to assist entrepreneurs and celebrities who find themselves targeted by the same type of alleged schemes that nearly destroyed his own career and reputation. Unresolved mysteries and questions continue to swirl around this case, keeping fans and industry insiders engaged and demanding answers. The most persistent question is whether other Gas Monkey branded businesses or licensing deals were targeted by similar alleged exploitation schemes, and whether Richard's victory in this case has prevented additional attempts at corporate theft. Sources suggest that there may be additional evidence and documentation that hasn't been made public yet, potentially revealing even more shocking details about the alleged conspiracy against Richard. Legal experts familiar with the case hint that the full scope of the alleged scheme may be larger and more complex than what's been revealed so far. Potential future revelations could include the identification of additional conspirators, evidence of similar alleged schemes targeting other celebrities, and documentation of the broader network of corporate predators who allegedly specialize in exploiting successful entrepreneurs and entertainers. The investigation into this case may have uncovered a systematic pattern of behavior that affects the entire industry. The most tantalizing possibility is that Richard's successful defense of his brand and reputation may have prevented an even larger alleged conspiracy from succeeding. Sources hint that the restaurant investors may have been part of a broader network of individuals and entities who specialize in identifying successful brands and systematically stealing them through legal manipulation and corporate warfare. Final community engagement and subscription drive. This investigation represents exactly the type of fearless, in-depth reporting that mainstream media won't touch. We've spent months uncovering evidence, interviewing sources, and piecing together a story that exposes corporate corruption at the highest levels. But we can only continue this vital work with your support and engagement. The Richard Rawlings case is just the beginning. Sources throughout the entertainment, automotive, and business industries are reaching out with similar stories of alleged exploitation, manipulation, and corporate theft. Your hype, your comments, and your shares, they all help us fund the investigations that expose the truth powerful people want buried forever. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of truth seekers who refuse to let corporate predators destroy the dreams and hard work of authentic entrepreneurs. The next expose we're working on will blow your mind even more than this one, and it's only through your support that we can continue shining light into the darkest corners of corporate America.